Hi, a couple of years ago I covered the Red Hot Chili Peppers' Stadium Arcadium on guitar, and since then I've had a lot of requests for lesson videos, mostly for specific songs, which is cool, but I thought it would be a better idea to take a look at some of the general concepts that John uses in a lot of the songs. There are a few things I noticed, and at the time of learning these songs, a lot of it, I didn't really pay attention to this stuff, but since then I've tried to absorb a little bit more of it so that I could take it and use it in my own playing, in my own songwriting. So today we're going to talk about harmony in inversions. Now there are a few things that John seems to use a lot, and those are triads. So if you don't know what a triad is, I would first start by learning your major scale. Plenty of videos already that will teach you that, so and a lot of information online, so you can start there. And then learning your triads. So in a major chord, your triad is your root, your third, and your fifth of that major scale, or just your interval. So if you took an A, it would be your root, then your third note, and then your fifth note of that major scale. That's your foundation for your major chord, and your minor chord would be your root, your flat third, and your fifth. So this is really important to understanding John's sense of harmony and his chords. He seems to always kind of rely on that basic, his triad shapes a lot. In the song Snow, instead of using big chords, he'll tend to use triads, just 3-note chords. So here, if you're taking a look at what would be your G sharp minor chord, instead of playing the whole chord, he's just taking it from what would be the fifth of that chord, and then the root right under it, and then the flat third. So right there, that's enough information that you have a minor chord already. And then he'll use his E triad, so E, root, third, fifth, and then B, then F sharp. So that's what he's using to play through that intro. So a good exercise I would suggest would just be to take any chord, say your A, and then learn how to play it. You could learn the cage system, and learn how to play at least 5 positions of your A, and then break it down further and just learn all the triads all across the board. I mean, that's something that will, if you start doing that today, your playing will improve greatly, and your understanding of theory and harmony will also improve a lot. So so that's what he's kind of thinking here, just taking those triads, and this is something he's done, since the early days of the Chili Peppers. Let me give you another example now. When he gets to the chorus, right here, he's using his big bar chord, so he uses 6-note chords. And this is kind of how he'll build up the song a little bit too, I've noticed, is that if he has a first chorus, he'll tend to stick straight to just these chords. So it would be, in this case, you'd have a B major, F sharp, then you have a C here with an added ninth, so your pinky. So for instance, if I was just to kind of put that in a loop and strum it in the song and have 2, 3, 4. So once I have that set on a loop, now he'll do that for the first chorus. Second chorus, he'll build it up a little bit further than that. So this is where the triads come into play. So like, if he has a B here, he'll just play a B down here, and he'll arpeggiate it, which is just pick those notes separately. And when he gets right here, take the bottom 3 notes, right there, and then right here. So you have this. And this comes in on the second third courses. So if I have this playing, 2, 3, 4, you have will add a little bit of a lift. When you hit that second chorus, it will just lift it up and make it seem a little bit more powerful than the first chorus. It's a good trick in your own songwriting. When you're writing songs, when you're recording, you could use something like that, just to add a lift to the chorus of the second chorus. And then at the end, here's another thing that he does, is he'll bend to chord tones a lot. This is why it's also important to understand harmony. So for instance, he has a couple things going on here. This is the solo at the end. When he's playing his B, now what one guitar is doing is it's bending to the root. So you'll bend the A on the B string to the root. So here's one guitar going bend into the root, and then when it comes to the F sharp here, you'll bend on the 12th fret to the 5th of that chord. And then when he gets to the C sharp, he's bending to the 5th. So when you put that into play here, I'll try to do it in time. I know this is a little bit slower than the song, but I just want to make sure you guys are all getting this. So. And then he'll overdub another guitar on top of that, which will just bend to different chord tones. So there's another one here where he's bending on the 9th fret of your G string. This is B for the B, and he's bending to the 5th of that chord. So it's really cool. You get this basically, you know, a lot of guitar harmonies there with the bends. So you'd be bending on the one to the root, and then you would be bending to the 5th on the other. And then the next one, when he gets to the F sharp, he'd be bending to the 3rd, which would be on the 11th fret. And then here, because this C sharp has an added 2nd, he'll be bending to the 2nd. So 14th fret, so it would be like 11th fret, 9th fret of your G string, 13th fret, and then 14th fret of your B string on top. And then the second time, instead of with the last one, with the C sharp, instead of bending to the 2nd or the 9, he will bend to let me see, the 5th, which would be on the 11th fret. So it would be like first time, second time you're going. I'll try to play this out the way it would go in the song. So I already have my other parts looped up here. This is the final chorus right at the end. So. He's doing this all over Stadium Arcadium, the same sort of tricks. So you really get this sort of guitar symphony. It really adds a lot of, as the song plays out, it's just getting more and more harmonically rich. Okay, so next I'm going to take you through Stadium Arcadium, the course of that song, and show you how John applies the same concept of using triads and inversions to give the second and the third chorus a lift. So the chords are B minor, major, just an open position, A, and E. So I'm just going to record the loop of the first chorus, which will be 2, 3, 4. Now that's the first chorus. Come around the second chorus, he'll play the same concept as in Snow, where he'll take the triads of these chords. So for instance, if you're looking at B minor, what really helps is to be able to see all your intervals of that chord, to be able to see this is your root, your fifth, your octave, your minor third, and your fifth. Because if you could do that, you could start to be able to see your inversions. An inversion is just where you'll flip it. So instead of starting from the root, you'll start from the third, but the fifth and the root will still be there. Or you'll start from the fifth. So for instance, right here, if we're taking this B on the G string, he has a B, then he plays the minor third here. And I can't stress just learning your chords enough, because if you can see that and be able to see the bottom and be able to see all of the degrees of your chord in that, all your intervals, it just helps so much. So if you have this, these little shapes he's playing here, and then he's going to play this shape, and this will be right out of that major shape. So it would be a D, playing the triad there, then right out of his A, bottom three strings, then right out of the E. So basically if you're taking sort of the bottom three strings of all of these chords, the D would be here, and then you'll get that information. So here he's picking just eighth notes, so it would be like if you have your shape, I'll just call it the strings. So it would be like 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1. And then he switches the chords on the and to 4. So if you're counting that, it would be like 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now if I have this going, I'll play along with that. So this happens in the second chorus to give it a little bit of a lift. So here we go. So how yeah, it just adds a lift to that second chorus, kind of lifts it a little bit higher, makes it sound a little bigger than the first one. Now in the third chorus, he'll do the same thing almost, so this will be playing as well, but he'll also take now some inversions. So his B minor, he'll be playing up here on the 7th fret, so this would be sort of out of that big bar chord. If you're looking at the bottom, minor, 3rd, 5th, the root on the bottom, so you would have exact same picking. D, he's getting right here. That would be right out of the big bar chord, just from the 3rd. And the A, it's just out of your, sort of like your D shape, or if you think of sort of your cage system, your C shape, I guess, of A. Shape again, which would be right out of that E. So like I said, I can't stress that enough, just trying to learn your chords, trying to learn all your inversions. Really helps you understand John's style, but also just helps you for your own understanding your own creativity so much. So let me try to put that together now. So this would be like the third chorus. So again, he'd be playing sort of this here, his B minor here, his D here, A here, his E here. So if I have that going, here we go. Same picking. So. There you go, you get the effect of what's going on there. So, yeah, it's a great trick that he uses there, and I'll show you a couple more examples of him using the exact same thing in different songs. Okay, next I want to show you how John uses the same concept, and especially in Michigan. So, the chords of the chorus would be A major, then you would have an E major, F sharp minor, and a D. So the first chorus, he's just taking these little triads here on the bottom. So this A here that we learned from Stadium Arcadium be going so that's 1, 3, 2, 1 sort of thing. It goes to his E. Right on that chord, so F sharp minor triad, and then D. So you have your E shape right here. I mean your A, sorry. A, and then E, F sharp minor, and D. So this is what he'll do for the first chorus, and then the second time through, instead of playing his D here, he'll actually play it up here. So you're in 14th position. It's kind of cool. So when you put those together, this is what you get. 1, 2, 3, 4. How he'll use them in the first chorus. Now, second chorus, it's a little more rockin', so he'll take the power chords of that, and it's all on your 5th string. Just sharp, D, back up to A. And then how he'll add to this is, this is actually just a couple overdubs, but it will kind of give it a lift as that comes again. So he'll take single notes. I'll show you the concept behind it though, is basically he's taking his A up here. So it'll just be right out of this shape, just taking the, will be the 3rd and 5th of that chord. Then back to E, same shape. And the minor 3rd and the 5th. The F sharp minor there. So once you can see your triads in the bottom 3 strings, you'll start to be able to visualize these. So. F sharp, and then the D back here. And he'll match the D the second time by coming up 12 frets from here. 15th position, so you get this. Now he actually plays those single. Let me try to get those happening. So if we have on top of that, you'll put the one on the B string. Once I stack that up, it will go. I'll try to make that happen. If we want he's just kind of building it as the song goes along, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Now the final one, he'll even add to that, which I really love this sort of lick that he's doing here, which is, so in the A, he'd be sort of playing here. So that's just kind of, you could think of like A major, pentatonic, F sharp minor. So it'd be 17th fret, just bending up a whole step, 14th fret, so you could probably get that sort of from here. So that's what he does over the A. Just going A, then E. So it's like here, just sort of out of your E shape here, G, so your inversion. The guitar's a lot of tune. It's so cold back in this room. And then over the F sharp minor, cool little lick here. He'll slide in on the D string, 14th to 16th fret. And then play the 14th fret here. So it's just right out of your F sharp minor pentatonic. It's actually just your triad. You have root, third, bends the 4 up to a 5th. So you get that. Hold that bend, and play the F sharp at the bottom. You get this. And then from there you get this, what would be right out of your D, a triad right here. 16th, 14th, 15th fret, that would be your D right there. And then the D, he'll bend up a whole step, so it has this cool spinning to the 9. Just picking up again. So when you add that, you get this from the A. E. F sharp minor. D. He'll do a little variation the second time, just phrase it a little differently, like he'll bend to that, so it's kind of cool. And then he'll come back here to 9th position. And that's sort of where that ends. So I'll kind of show you how that matches up at the end of the song. So we have 3, 4. And again, gives it a lift. It's a cool little lick. It gets you sort of playing licks out of these chord shapes, which is it's just a good way of thinking when you're trying to be creative. Like I always say, just think of your chord, play right out of that chord. There's so much you can do already harmonically right out of your chord. The more chords that you learn, I find that's sort of your key to liberation on the, getting the whole fretboard. Okay, so next up is wet sand. So the chords here in the verses would just be G major, all open position, D, you have E minor, and you have B minor. So that's the chords without all the licks and all stuff like that. So those are just the basic chords. Now, when it gets to the second verse, he'll actually think it's a mandolin, but I'll show you for effect on guitar what he's doing. Is he'll take that G and he'll be playing way up here. So he'll be playing his 16th, 15th, and 15th fret. So have your G there. When it goes to the D, you'll be taking the D 12 frets higher. So you have 14, 15, 14. E minor, you'll be thinking here, which would be from the 5th, 16, 17, 15. And then B minor here. I already showed you that shape down here in Stadium Arcadium. This is just an octave higher than that. So let me show you if I put that together. I'll try to get that happening. So if we have sounds pretty cool, right? So yeah, it's a lot of fun too if you have a loop pedal. It's just trying to learn some of these because it's a good way to practice. It's a lot of fun as well. So let's take a look at the chorus and what he's doing. Now this is a technique in the chorus that he does a lot. I almost just think when I hear this technique and other people use it, I automatically think Frusciante, because to me I equate a lot of what he does with this sort of sound where now the chords for the chorus, for instance, is E minor. So instead of playing that whole bar chord, he just plays the root and the minor third. It's this sort of sound that you could hear in the chorus of this song, Snow. You could hear it in the pre-chorus. You could hear it in Scar Tissue. It's just kind of a thing he seems to favor a lot. So it would be like that. Root minor third. If he's going up to his would be the G. He'd just be taking the root and third there. And the D, root and third. So it creates this really wide interval. So it's I really love the sound of it. You get that. So you kind of get his picking there. I'll sort of try my best to get this. Just delete the last loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. I should also mention that the second time, instead of hitting that third, he'll also hit the octave on the E and the D. You get this sort of root minor third, and just the octave. So that's the first chorus. And again, he'll build on this by the time the next one comes. So it's always sort of evolving. It's always moving. So the second chorus, the first part that he'll play would be E minor, same thing, then octave. Then here he's just getting what would be a D triad right out of this chord here, 7th position, the 7th fret of your D, G, and B string. So that's how he'll kind of get out of that. So let me loop that one. So 3, 4. course, he'll do a harmony on top of that. So if he has this E minor here and he's doing the root and third here, what he'll do is he'll go up to the minor third here. So 1.5 steps away you have that minor third. And then you'll be playing the B. So if you can kind of see that, it's a little harder to visualize this one, so you just kind of got to start learning the intervals. So for instance, the E minor triad would be E, and then you'd have your G, and then you'd have your B. So here he's just taking the G and the B, leaving the root out of it because it's already in the other one, so that information's there already. So he'll move this shape. So I kind of think of it like that, you know, if you saw your E, and then up here, just be part of your G, just be taking that, so it'll be major, and then be taking his D, so his D is here, that'll be the third here, whatever way, and then your fifth here, so same thing with your C. So you get this. There he'll add a little 16th fret for an embellishment. And that only happens one time. The next time he comes back to it, he'll just play from here actually. So it's always something is moving and changing. So like here would just be from the 5th and the 3rd, and the 5th and 3rd of your G, and then he'll do a bend on the 12th fret to the F sharp, which would be the 3rd of D. So, for instance, you get this. So I'll try to make that happen here. So. Lines working together. Really cool. So now again, he'll use this sort of in, I don't know what kind of patch he's using on the guitar here, sort of the bridge right near the end. Now the chords here are going to be, he'll have an F, so it would be E, F sharp, and then you'll have a G minor, or I guess a G sharp minor. G sharp minor. So here, if you know your cage system, or you know like this shape of E, root 3rd, 5th, you're just playing it from the 3rd here on the D string. So you get this shape, and 9/8. So this would be your minor shape there from G sharp minor. Again, everything's from the 3rd here, so he'll just arpeggiate this and pick through it by, this is sort of a common picking pattern too he'll do. He'll go like, if you have your fingers on it, it'd be 4, so it's going 4, 2, 3, and then you'll kind of hear that last one of just a 4, 3. Actually, it's 4, 2, last one, sorry. Try to get that in your ear, you'll hear that. And you'll just move that. Now, to my ear, that sounds a lot cooler than just playing your, strumming through your chords. It's just another way of thinking, right? So it's being creative with the guitar. And then to get out of it, there's one point where I go back to the F sharp, and then back to the G sharp minor. And here he's doing like a, it would be a D sharp 7. Sort of right out of that chord. try to play through this section. I'm not going to loop it or anything, I'll just try to play through it. 3, 4. Still going, to lift that part even higher, he'll add another inversion on top of that. So he'll just take, if you have this whole chord, instead of playing this one, he'll play the next one, which would be 4, so E down here. This is a good one because you kind of see all of them from, you know, you see that, you see this, you see that. So through is playing your E there. So same picking, just different string set. Then you would have that happening. So I'll try to kind of just loop them once for effect so you can get the sound of that. 3, 4. Kind of get that guitar symphony thing there, right? Each thing, it's the main thing to take from it as well, besides the inversions, is that these are tricks that, you know, John is using, and he's used a lot throughout his career in the Chili Peppers, to lift the chorus, to make them sound, you know, keep getting, you know, instead of just playing the same thing, it's always, and this is all over the place in Stadium Arcadium. I'm not even sort of scratching the surface. So I hope you got something out of that lesson. Comment, like the video if you like it. Let me know what you want next. I'm going to try to do a couple other videos on these similar concepts that I've noticed that John uses a lot. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.